Welcome. Welcome to chapter 22. And chapter 22 is a good chapter to close this semester on. There's two focuses in chapter 22. Number one is the fifth declension. There are no more declensions after this. And there are also, after one ablative, the ablative of place where, which is incredibly easy, just tells where something is, there is the summary of the ablatives. Let's look at the fifth declension. The fifth declension. Very few words make up the fifth declension, and it's one of the funnest, if you can say that, declensions to memorize. The fifth declension, I memorize it with one word, with race, rei, feminine. And here's how we decline it. Race, rei, rem, ray, race, rerum, rebus, race, rebus. Res, rei, rem, ray, race, rerum, rebus, race, rebus. Should be old hat to you by now. Some of these, for example, look at the genitive plural, the rerum. Oftentimes the fifth declension is called the E declension because it has the letter E so many times. And the rerum, think of it, in the first conjugation, in the first it's arum, in the second it's orum, in the third it's just in the fourth it's and here we have arum, going back to something we're more familiar with the first and second declension. The abuses at in the dative and ablative plural shouldn't surprise you. The accusative singular ends in the letter M, just like the first declension, which is an AM. Second declension is a UM. Third declension is an EM. Fourth declension is a UM. And here it's an EM. So really, if you want, the endings are in this word, take off that R. Those are your endings, but that's why I have always used race as my paradigm. It just makes it easier. Ace, A-E, A-E-M, A. You can certainly, I'm not going to discourage you in any way to memorize ace, A-E, A-E-M, A, ace, arum, abus, ace, abus. In no way do I discourage that. It's just more fun to say race, rei, rem, ray, race, rerum, rebus, race, rebus. So the words are race, dies. Here's one, dies, which means day, space, which means hope, fides, which means faith, and there may be one or two others in, no, I think that's it in this chapter. I'm looking at the chapter right now. That's it. Those are the only words that we have, if I'm not mistaken, in this book. There may exist others, but it's such a small point. But here's one place where the race shows up. We use the word republic as all one word. The Romans separated it. They called it the res publicae, the public thing, if you will. And as such, republic, you have to conjugate both the noun race and the adjective publica. So if you're going to save the republic, I am saving conservo, the republic, the rem, the public thing, publicam. See how I've modified, I've declined both the noun and the adjective. I am saving the republic, conservo rem publicam. That's a little quirk, but oh my gosh, rem is fairly common. And it doesn't mean thing in the sense of this thing, which is oftentimes the accusative neuter, the neuter. It means more of an affair, a matter, a circumstance. And it takes a while to get a sense of all the times you can use race, but it doesn't mean thing as, what's that thing you're holding? It doesn't mean that. That would be something in the accusative neuter. This is more of, again, a matter, affair, a circumstance, than some abstract, than an object, if you will. And in some ways, I don't know how fair it is to say this, but certainly for the words we know, the fifth declension is more of an abstracty, if you can say that type of declension, with faith and hope and thing and day. Day's not, I mean, you can't hold these things. So that's how I tend to group them in my head. I'm not saying you have to, I'm not saying you will, but this is how I view the fifth declension. The second part of the chapter is the ablatives. We have one ablative, which I don't think is problematic at all. A new ablative is place where. And place where always uses a preposition. I am in the house. I am under the water, sub aqua. I am under the water. I don't know where else we can use sub or in, or the only accusatives, the only prepositions I can think of. And there, in point of fact, Wheelock indicates those two as well. And finally, along the lines of ablatives, Wheelock has ablatives that use with preposition and ablatives without preposition. And I think and in this case he summarizes, I'll just say prep. He summarizes all of the prepositions here in this chapter, and he does a very good job of it. And you can see I encourage you to make your own list, absolutely, but he mentions accompaniment with a preposition, cum. He mentions manner, which uses a preposition, cum. Place where, which uses the preposition. Place where, place from which. He uses separation, ab, de, or ex, separation. I am giving you an abbreviated form at the moment. Personal agent. And then some part, ablative of the part, sometimes with numbers. 4 of the men did this. Because it does, with numbers, he does use de or ex. So we have not talked about that one much, but that's okay. Again, I'm giving you a abbreviated form. I strongly encourage you to make your own list and include the prepositions so you know which ones they are. Without preposition, means or manner. Means or instrument. My mistake. Got a little ahead of myself. Means or instrument. Then comes the manner, because, I'll address that. Let me get these. Time when. Time within which. And then also separation when we're talking about using a separation. When we're using verbs of free from, away, without. Kario often uses it without a preposition. So, manner is one that uses both. You say magna cum laude. If it has an adjective, it does use the cum, and if it doesn't have an adjective, it's optional. So that's why manner works in both of them, in both columns. But again, I encourage you to take your time to sort these out. There'll be a quiz on these. It'll be on the exam. But this is a good chapter to end on. Not a lot of new ideas, but we tie it up nicely with the fifth conjugate, a fifth declension, and a summary of the ablatives. It's a good way to end the week and the semester. Let me know if you have questions. Thanks.